Good morning or good evening, wherever you are. You are listening to The Truth with your host, 40, broadcasting from Coleman County, Alabama.
Good evening and welcome to The Truth. I'm your host, 40. Tonight's topic is one that is extremely important. It is something I think about on a daily basis, something that I love dearly, something I hold as in the top 3 things of importance in my own life, and I hope it's on the top 3 of important things in your life as well. It is something that is always under attack. The topic I'll be discussing is freedom and liberty. At first, I had planned to discuss the differences in the two to start out, but I slightly changed my mind. There's a lot of debate and disagreement on the definitions and differences, so I'll just simply give you my personal opinion and the views that I agree with, that I read and see that a lot of other people have as well. Okay, first we need to look at where does liberty and freedom come from. So, okay, we know that we're born into this world with free will. We're born into it with liberty to do whatever we want to do within the laws of nature and the bounds that this world gives us. We can say anything we want. We can think. We can speak, write, love, worship, eat, build, and create things. Study, learn, help others, and even kill others if we so choose to. We can literally do whatever we want if we're capable of it. But no matter what we do, we affect something. There's always a consequence to our actions. It's a law of nature that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. We have the ability to take any action our heart desires, whether it is good or bad. It doesn't matter. We can do it. Now, if you believe in God as I do, or if you don't, then even if you don't believe in God, you know that you have free will, that you were born with this natural freedom. But if you believe in God as I do, you believe that God created you. And since God created you, your free will and liberty to do whatever you want, good or bad, in fact, came from God. So that means you were created by God and born with liberty and freedom from God. God gave this to you. You came into this world with liberty and freedom. Whether anyone liked it or not, your freedom and liberty did not depend on anyone else. It is just part of you, just as your arm or your legs or your soul is. And my point is, liberty is not granted by government or a majority or a law or a document or a vote or anything else. It is part of you, independent of all these worldly influencing factors. Now, as great as the Constitution is, the Constitution itself does not give you your rights or freedom or your liberty. It merely states the already self-evident truth that we all have certain rights and freedoms, just because we exist. It's just a formal statement of what is obvious and right. It doesn't give you anything, it just says what you already have. God gave this to you, or if you don't believe in God, then it comes from nature. You were just born with it. You just have it. Everybody knows you have free will. Now, free will isn't really what people think about freedom, but I'm getting somewhere with this. Just hold on with me. The Bill of Rights is just a list of things we're born to have the right to. However, these things are not the only thing you have freedom to do. As I said before, you can quite literally do anything you want that the human body and mind is capable of. But then through your life, however, you come into contact with people who say you can't do things, you can't do this and that, and you start to believe it. Then you don't realize the fact that you were born free and you can do whatever you want. The point is you'll never really be free until you wake up and actually realize that you always were, always are, and always will be, no matter what. No matter what anybody says, you were born with this freedom, and no one has the right to take it away from you. Now, what are the threats to your freedom and liberty? The biggest threat to your freedom and liberty is government itself. It's a necessary evil. Even though we can do whatever we want, we still have to have something in place, because we can't allow people to do things that can hurt other people. Yes, they do have the free will to do so, but as I said, every action must have a opposite and equal reaction. So we can't allow people to take freedoms from somebody else. If you harm somebody, or if you kill somebody, you're taking their life, you're taking their freedom. If you take their possessions, if you steal from somebody, you're taking their freedom, their life, and not their life, but their liberty. You are taking from them. You may be capable of doing it, but people have to stop it. Government is a necessary evil. Anybody stopping you from doing anything is not good, because as I said, you were given this freedom and liberty at birth. It's not right for others to take it away from you, no matter what they feel. But we can't let people be hurt. And I feel that that's the absolute only liberty, or the only restriction that should be upon liberty and freedom, is you can't take from anyone or hurt anyone else. Other than that, you should be able to do what you want, because it doesn't affect anyone else. If if somebody wants to sit on their porch and smoke crack all day, I don't care. They have the free will and the liberty and freedom to do so. They're harming no one but themselves. And people might say, well, what if, I don't want somebody getting high and going out and driving around and killing me. Well, if that so happens, then it wasn't them doing the drug. It wasn't the crack that made them kill you. Or it wasn't the drug that made them, that they should be tried for. It's the fact that they killed someone. Why do we stack these crimes on top of people? All it does is it limits our liberty. We're like, oh, well, he did this. It was because he was doing this, and he was doing this, and he was doing this. Who cares? Murder is murder. It doesn't matter why he was doing it. That's his own business. That's anybody, anything you want to do is your business. That's your liberty, your freedom. No one else's. And no one else should limit it, regulate it, or take it away from you. Now, that brings me to another point, is if we can get our minds to this, I come to this realization last night, that no one can really take your freedom from you. They may physically take it, but you are still free in a sense. Because as I said, you were given free will by God. No one can take that away. Even if you're locked in a prison, you still have free will. You can still get up and fight back. You can still get up and kick the walls, or throw your food, or sit calmly and eat, or do whatever you want. You still have a level of freedom. They may have taken your physical freedom, but not your mental freedom. Now, we should never allow someone to try to take our freedom. And it's not only government who is a threat to that liberty and freedom. There are many, many people. I believe there are more people who want to take your freedom than there are that care about it. For example, you have groups that will say, we should be allowed to pray in school, and you should. But those same people, somebody tries to bring in another religion in, and they want to pray in school, or they want to pray over the intercom, they'll say no. They're like, no, this isn't right. You can't do this. But if you want freedom, you have to allow other people to have it as well. You can't be a hypocrite. Freedom and liberty is not, it doesn't discriminate. No exceptions. You should have the right to do whatever you want with no exception, because you were given this ability and free will by God. It doesn't come from government. It doesn't come from a law. It doesn't come from, anything. It is just part of you. So who can take it away? And uh, if anyone does try to take your freedom and your liberty away, then you should fight back. You should not allow them to even attempt it. Now, we live in a world today where we see it all the time. We have so many laws in this country. So many laws, and they're disguised by security. Like, oh, we just want to keep you safe. We just want to keep you safe. Okay, we're going to pass this law that takes away your liberty, but you have to comply because it'll keep you safe. And people fall for this crap. People place their safety above their liberty and their freedom. Okay? Your liberty and your freedom should be number one. You were given it. You've had it your entire life, but you don't realize you have it half the time. We get so comfortable in our everyday lives that we just hand our freedom and our liberty over, and we don't even think about it. It's sad. People tell me like, "Oh, you're too extreme." You want people to just be able to do whatever they want. Yes, you're correct. I do want people to be able to do whatever they want. What is bad about that? Why is it bad that someone would want you to have the liberty and freedom to live your life as you please, to live your life as you see fit? And you have the so-called conservatives who think they're defending liberty, but they're not. They're defending their own liberty. And Democrats don't care about liberty at all. Your liberal people, I shouldn't say Democrats, but liberal altogether, they run off of emotion rather than logic and reason and the understanding that you are free. Every human being has the right to live how he sees fit. But you have these certain conservative people, the same type of people as I was talking about before, about prayer in school, which anyone should be allowed to pray in school. But these people, like say for example with the gay marriage issue, okay, you can morally disagree with something but still say that people should be able to do it. Okay, me personally, I morally disagree with homosexuality, but that doesn't mean that I think that people shouldn't be allowed to be gay. Just because I disagree with something doesn't mean you shouldn't be allowed to do it. Okay, and the marriage issue, yes, I disagree with it, but they have every right. They are a human being. They were given this free will, liberty, and freedom. Who is our government or us to take it away? We cannot be hypocrites. It has to be a two-way street. It has to go in every direction with no exceptions. If you want liberty for yourself, then you must make sure that others have it as well. And it's really upsetting to look around today and see people who say they defend liberty, yet they want to take it from others. Okay? So it isn't just the government who is a threat to your freedom and your liberty. It's some of your fellow citizens. Because we live in a world today where it seems like we aren't ruled by law and the Constitution and the ideas and concepts of liberty. It's a lot of things are based on, well, this is what the majority thinks, so this is what we're going to do. People think that's how it's supposed to be, but it isn't. This isn't a democracy. It isn't mob rule. We live under laws, and unfortunately we have a lot of laws that do not protect our liberty and our freedom, and that should be government's only role. They should only exist to protect your liberty and your freedom. That's it. I believe that is the only role government should play in our lives. Now I want to ask everybody to please wake up. Wake up and realize why you are free, where your freedom and your liberty comes from, and why you should never ever just sit back and think it'll all be okay and not make sure you maintain this liberty and freedom. Wake up and realize that our government today wants to take it from you. People, could be your neighbors, could be anybody, want to take your liberty from you. I'm not trying to separate people, but what I'm saying is that if somebody wants to take my liberty and freedom from me in any way whatsoever, I don't care what it is, then they are my enemy. They are my enemy. And that's the end basically of all I have to say tonight. This may have been a little shorter than I planned or that you were hoping, but I basically got my point. I hope I got my point across to you that, if I can recap on it, I guess that your liberty comes from God. No one can take it from you, no matter what, and you should never allow anyone to attempt to take it from you. You should stop them in their tracks, wake up, and realize what is happening and fight back. This is what your liberty is to be able to do whatever you want, and nobody should be able to stop you as long as you are not harming someone else other than self-defense. Now I ask you all once again to please realize these things. Take the time out every day to sit and think. Take the time out to think how you are free and how you are not. Any law that has to do with force or stopping you from living your life as you see fit is wrong and should be stopped and fought back against. Thank you for tuning in tonight. That's all I have for you. And please think about these things. Search for the truth and accept nothing less.